Hey, it's Daz from Stratton Performance Training, SPT. Just a quick intro to video number 2. So just want to cover off before you watch the TLC for beat up legs video. That's really just a video giving you a few examples and ideas of how you can release tight muscles, get rid of adhesions and break down a bit of scar tissue from any possible past injuries, that kind of stuff that might be affecting your mobility and it's just causing you some discomfort. So it helps you with recovery, and it will help to accelerate that, and it also help you with being able to get into correct positions with good form and posture in your skill drills and in your particular exercises that you may be using to develop a particular athletic ability, such as being able to do a good deep squat or overhead squat, for example, and having the mobility in your ankles, hips and your thoracic spine to do that. You might need to work on mobility, and then you can get yourself in that good position, and then you can start adding weight and load, which is pointless if you can't do it properly in the first place. Alright, so massive benefit to foam rolling and all those sorts of things connected. Please read the article, it will give you more information on that. That's on my website. It's a free article. The first part is around some ideas of what we're trying to do, and a little bit about faults on fascia. There are arguments that fascia is really important. There are arguments out there that fascia is completely irrelevant and doesn't make any difference at all. Who knows? Different schools of thoughts. I don't know enough to comment and to be able to say either way. All I know is that I've used this stuff and it works. However, how it works doesn't really matter that much to me, if I'm totally honest. I just like the fact that it works. It's simple and makes a big difference, and I think that's what most people are interested in. Okay. It will make more sense if you understand the gist of it and what people think, and I'll give you some really useful information in the article where you can look at the different tools that you can use. So just an open or closed cell simple foam roller, the more expensive advanced ones with the sort of textures and ridges to them, such as the grid or the rumble roller, good examples. You can also use a ball, anything from a medicine ball right down to a golf ball and anything in between. You can use specialised trigger point balls with fabric on them. You can use a theracane for your back and awkward to reach areas. There are lots of tools, and I'll give you some ideas of all the different ones that you can use that are available and out there, and I'll give you some examples of how much they cost, where you can get them from, and when one may be better to use and you'll find more effective than over another tool, so what works best when. And then in part 2 of the article, which may or may not be up by the time that you're watching this, you'll get some actual practical examples and some detail around specifically what you can do for certain problem areas, like if you've got a bad back, different things that you can do that might help, if your feet and your ankles are hurting and inflamed or whatever. Okay, so a bit more specific to the actual exercises themselves. So until that point, the video that follows this, TLC for beat up legs, is giving you a few ideas, and hopefully you'll find it useful. Okay, it's not a definitive list, a be all and end all, but it's just some ideas that gives you the ability to think, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I forgot about that one. Yeah, let me give that a go. Okay, and that's all I want. And that will be job done from my perspective. 3 principles I want you to follow. Step 1 is that you need to start off from the outside surfaces close to your skin, and then you need to work your way inwards to the deeper tissue. It's no good going for a kind of mega deep tissue massage on say like a lacrosse ball on your glute, or working on your ankle mobility if you haven't done anything to free up the superficial area close to the surface first. it may be that you have a look at it, you check that area out and it's absolutely fine and it doesn't need anything, so that's cool, and you just go straight into the deep work. But all I'm saying is principle number one is always check. The most common area you'll find really out of everywhere, as it tends to be more bony areas, will be around your ankle. Okay, and that's probably the most worthwhile one to do. If the skin doesn't glide freely, that means that there's an adhesion likely between the fascia and the muscle, and what that will mean is that things won't be functioning properly, and that's going to give you mobility issues. It can give you pain, discomfort. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is work on ungluing that. Okay, quick example is on the outside of the back of your hand. You can see the skin moves freely and it glides. That's what it should be doing around your ankle. If it isn't, I'll show you some techniques in the video you can use to free that up. Okay, once that's okay, or if that's already okay, then step 2 would be where we start working on our roller in, our trigger point work with the balls, or whatever we want to do to try to get rid of those tight areas, get some release, and relax and lengthen the muscles, and to pull away the bound up collagen that's locked up, causing adhesions. Okay, so I'll give you some ideas of how to do that on the video. Once you've done that part and everything's feeling good, and you've got rid of any major restrictions, then you can start working on the mobility side of things, just to rediscover that lost range, or to try and work a little bit towards some new range. Okay, so for that generally I'll use a resistance band to create some distraction, not on the muscles but on a particular joint. So generally you'll see people the most, they'll use these on the hips, pulling them up as high under the glute fold, under your bum, or on the hip from the opposite direction, right up the top of your leg, or they'll use them around their ankles. They're great. I'll show you an example of both of those, and also on that'll be the whole subject of another video. When you're working on upper body, they're great to use around the big capsules in your shoulders. Okay, and that's just creating some distraction, so you've got an external force pulling with some tension from the band to open up a bit of space in the capsule. You know, they don't always sit in perfect alignment over time from muscular imbalances and just from general wear and tear in life, so it just pulls it sort of open, gives you a little bit of space to work in, so you can work on some mobility that you wouldn't normally be able to access. Okay, and you'll feel it once you experiment and play around with it. You'll feel the difference it makes, and how useful they can be. And then once you're there, you can work a little bit, if you've got the time and it's post workout, would make more sense, is you can work a little bit on your flexibility as well. So the kind of more traditional stretches that you can use the band for, or you can do without the band, and that's just literally the more kind of perhaps static stuff, typical sort of Samson sort of stretch, like a hip flexor lunge type stretch, that kind of stuff, just to work on some new range. You can use PNF stretching, like contract relax stuff that you've probably used lots in the past, just to really tense and contract the muscles and then let them relax, and then to open up in a little bit of extra range. So just working on the Golgi organs and the receptors, just to enable them to let you get into some new range without trying to put on the alarm bells and stop you going there. Okay, so that's about it for this video. I've spoken long enough, but just wanted to give you some detail so the video, when you watch it, makes sense, because I'm limited with what I can tell you as it's running through. Fingers crossed you found it useful, and you know, to remind you again, please check out the article. It's well worth it. It's the information sort of goes hand in hand with the vid, and that's on strattonperformance.com under how to foam roller. Thanks.